From extreme overconfidence to defeat, this is the price you pay for underestimating your opponents. But what happens when a villain thinks it's game over when the game actually starts? To answer that very question, today we're looking at the moments when villains underestimated their opponents in anime. In anime, there's no escaping when you've just killed someone's sensei. Unfortunately though, Shikamaru had to experience this grief when his sensei, Asuma Sarutobi, got killed by one of Akatsuki's baddies named Hidan. Now, the Akatsuki gang is really calculative, but they miscalculated the power of grief and of course, friendship. Shikamaru was always seen as a weakling who relied on tricks, and Hidan didn't take him seriously at all. He basically thought he could just slash through him and win, but what he didn't know was Shikamaru's strategic planning. He outmatched Hidan by setting a trap which resulted in a satisfying victory for our boy. Shikamaru's victory was nothing but a real big brain moment. And let's be honest, while this was a terrifying battle with Hidan's immortality and powers put up against Shikamaru, it's also kind of hilarious because he was eventually defeated.
先の手順を伏せ、獲物の首を切断するためにその刀身を射出せよ。王の刀身を一斉射出。バカ。魔術師でもないただの人間にこんな。
But the real game begins when the hero's laughter starts sounding more insane than the villains. No, it's not normal, with blood splatters on their necks and eyes filled with pure dread. Yet they stand unfazed even when the villain drops a bombard of attacks. This is the moment when characters go absolutely berserk. In this moment, Thoma discovered a power he never knew existed within him all this time. He discovered the true power of Imagine Breaker, which cancels any supernatural abilities and manifests itself in an insane manner. This manifestation made everyone go, whoa, what just happened? Thoma's giant dragon busted out from his severed arm, which was undeniably awesome. We're used to Imagine Breaker being a magic cancelling hand, but with his horrifying dragon, Thoma humbled Aureolus.
考えたことをそのまま現実にしちまう力なんだからな。よくぞ目覚めたわね、バネッサ。血液魔法傀儡の血潮。さあ運命よ、私に味方なさい。
Moving on to a moment where it literally rained blood. No, we're not just talking any blood, we're talking about the emotionally charged battle. You know, the ones filled with nostalgia and past conflicts? Exactly. The battle between two figures deeply connected by fate, Vanessa and the Witch Queen. The Witch Queen is obviously no saint. She always held a deep grudge for humanity and wanted to use the Magic Knight's power despite underestimating them for her own sinister plans. The witch once ruled Vanessa like a strict grandma, and she tried to use dirty past tricks to manipulate her till the very end, until things took a wild turn. Vanessa showed her who's the boss by using her red thread of fate power to touch the Witch Queen's forehead with a cat. Not your average cat though. It caused all of the Queen's spells to fall apart. It was that moment when the Witch Queen realized she messed with the wrong girl, and then with her magic falling apart, she had no choice but to admit her defeat. You know what happens when a devil puts himself against the saint thinking he's got the whole evil overlord thingy figured out? Absolute chaos, and not the kind the devil was planning on. That's exactly what happened when Brain, the absolute mastermind of a dark guild and the self-proclaimed strategist, finally clashed against Jura Nikis, one of the strongest saints in Ishgard. This scene is a classic hold up, wait a minute moment for anime fans. We've seen villains who are way too confident, and Brain was surely giving off those vibes. Meanwhile, Jura was casually rearranging the earth below his feet. I mean, he literally crushed Brain using his supreme King Rock Crush, which absolutely obliterated Brain. So, what's happened to Brain's mastery strategy? Well, it was a very satisfying reminder that even the most cunning villains get humbled when they underestimate their opponent's powers.
間抜けすぎるぜ、エル。見ろ。
手を下さずに人を殺せるのか。それは今日この時間に死刑になる予定だった男だ。
何？
やられたな。
さあ、私を殺してみろ。
You know what's better than epic battles? A good old battle of wits. We're not talking about magical power or blades, it's all about who outsmarts whom, and trust me, it's way more fun to watch the smartest guy get outwitted than outpunched, especially when L and Light battle. Now, if you've watched Death Note, you probably know these guys are always debating and conflicting. When it comes to the peak and most fun battle, both characters are caught off guard and exposed by one another. It took place when L used a decoy to appear on TV, knowing that Kira would kill him just to provoke and gather information from him. Light did exactly that and realized that he underestimated L, while L underestimated Light. This is a really fun battle where both characters underestimated each other and neither of them won. It's like a classic prank war gone wrong. L thought he cooked, while Light also thought he cooked. Reality, nobody got the upper hand and they even had to change their strategies. Imagine being so smart that you literally take down the strongest vampire in existence. We're talking about Luke Valentine, the enhanced human who was in the delusion that he could actually take on the most powerful vampire, Alucard himself. You see, this guy was filled with overconfidence and he tried to defeat the vampire using mere bullets. Boo! Alucard, unimpressed, casually deflected the bullets. Wanting to get it over quickly, Alucard battled like a true vampire and unleashed the hellbounds that cut through Valentine's limbs. It's a classic mismatch fight where one side is way too overpowered for the other side, and it's almost funny. This moment is amazing because Luke Valentine was humbled by exploring the true powers of Alucard and seeing how things work in the vampire world with his own two eyes. It was a memorable fight in Helsing which further strengthened Alucard's status as a horrible monster. It wasn't a battle of wits, but a battle of I got guns versus I am immortal, and you can guess who won that one, right?
お楽しみはこれからだ。ハリー、ハリー、化け物め！殺し。イグネオス。
破滅の魔眼を使えば防げるとお思いでしたの？ベヌス・ド・ノアの前には世界を隔てる壁ですら薄い紙同然。どうぞ滅んでくださいませ。ベヌス・ド・ノアは確かにこの手に。
お前は頑物だ。
And speaking of immortality, do you know of a guy who's literally so strong that he took over the Demon King by himself? Yes, you got that right. Let's talk about the time when Arnos Voldigode, the reincarnation of Demon King of Tyranny, came across his copycat Arvos Dilhevia. Now, copying someone's one thing and drawing inspiration is another. Arvos thought she could easily play pretend with Arnos, and she definitely underestimated him there. This not only led to a conflict, but also a confrontation where Arnos had to prove his true identity to stop the imposter. This fight was so painful for Arvos that she was left screaming a lot. Arnos didn't go easy on this lady. He literally attacked her in the chest and broke her root. It was well done because the fight wasn't just a physical one, it was a battle against misinformation and manipulation. Thank God there's no law in this anime, otherwise Arvos would have been locked up inside the jail, which is definitely better than being obliterated by the Demon King, right?
俺だよバカ野郎！双剣断撃！意味だ！斬撃に対する完全体制だ！
何よそれ？どんな位置に？
何か弱点があるはずだ！
騙されない。
もし。
Now, what happens when a team of overconfident adventurers face someone way out of their league? Let's talk about it. If you remember Overlord, you know that things rarely go well for those who underestimate Ainz. And Foresight? They made the biggest mistake of their lives. This team didn't know what they were up against. Ainz is a godlike powerful being, something that the Foresight had never encountered before. Meanwhile, Ainz didn't make any rookie mistakes. He didn't underestimate Foresight. Instead, he just saw them as a threatening flyer to barbecue. And with his overwhelming magical powers, Ainz defeated them easily. Why is this moment so cool? Well, to start off, this isn't a fight, it's more like a teasing. A classic battle where power scaling goes off the charts. While Foresight was supposed to be the top tier adventurers, their fight with Ainz made them look more like first day interns. They seriously thought they could outsmart the godlike being with a bunch of metal weapons, and that's exactly why you shouldn't underestimate someone like Ainz. You all know how much anime is a part of my life, right? And let's be real, nothing beats showing that love by collecting some awesome merch. I was just scrolling, thinking about which figurine to add to my collection next, and boom, today's sponsor came through like fate. Let me tell you about the anime merch. These guys are a treasure trove for anime fans. They've got everything from detailed figurines to gorgeous LED lamps and light boxes that'll make your setup shine. I couldn't resist grabbing a Luffy figurine for myself. He looks so good with the rest of my collection. They have it all if you're into Naruto, Bleach, Demon Slayer, My Hero Academia, or Chainsaw Man. And guess what? Even the latest anime like Dan 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 and Solo Leveling. And here's the best part, they've hooked us up with a special deal. Use my code VINI at checkout and you'll get 10% off your first order. How cool is that? So what are you waiting for? Go check out theanimemerch.com right now. Imagine being the annoying aunt who likes to meddle in everyone's lives. That's Clayman for Rimuru. Throughout the series, Clayman has been meddling in Rimuru's affairs like this man has nothing better to do than to bring Rimuru down. But Rimuru got so done with him that he decided to confront Clayman. Despite his lowly appearance, Rimuru sucked Clayman's technique through Beelzebub and ultimately defeated him. What makes things so interesting is that Clayman completely underestimated Rimuru and thought that he would crush this newbie. But little did he know, for Rimuru defeating him was not even a challenge, but a cleanup duty. In the end, the same guy who underestimated Rimuru was begging for his life, knowing damn well he messed with the wrong person. Ultimately, in the end, it was satisfying to see Rimuru get rid of an obsessive flying bug that had been bothering him for a long time. The animation, sound effects, and the attacks in this battle felt exceptionally real because of their high quality. How would you feel if someone stole something that belonged to you? Imagine the amount of rage you would feel when someone steals your food from the refrigerator. But this isn't about that. Now imagine if they stole your powers, like your actual powers. You'd go from hero to zero, just like Ichigo. Remember when Ichigo faced off against the former substitute Shinigami Ginjo? Well, that guy finally manipulated Ichigo and even stole his full-bring powers to become stronger. This was a major underestimation though, because Ichigo showed him who's the real boss. Our boy quickly regained his Shinigami powers faster than you could say Bankai and defeated Ginjo so badly that he was probably left questioning his life choices. The battle felt like a mirror match because it was like watching two versions of the same character fighting each other, because apparently a thief stole Ichigo's powers. That's why Ginjo shouldn't have thought that he had the upper hand by stealing Ichigo's full bring, because it only fueled him to protect his friends more.
あんなにそっかす一人片付けられないほど私の軍が弱体化していただなんて。
Alright, so this time we'll be talking about a guy who brought his whole army to fight 5 or 6 people. That's too much prep, right? Frieza showed up to planet Namek and thought he was about to crush some ants, but those ants turned out to be the Z Warriors. These warriors included Piccolo, Gohan, Tien, Master Roshi, and Krillin. And well, let's just say they took his whole army down super easily. To be honest, this wasn't a fair fight in the first place, but little did he know those few warriors would wipe out his army like it was nothing to them. The real fun in this battle happened when Frieza's superiority complex got a sad reality check. I bet he didn't know his ego would crumble faster than a sandcastle in a tsunami. Other than that, the Z Warriors' domination really slapped Frieza in the face, which was quite satisfying to see, making it one of the best moments when villains underestimate their opponents.
私の大切な部下に何をする。
クソ人間が見下してんじゃん。
You know, the pain of grief fuels more power into you than any fuel ever could. It's the kind of rage that burns like an inferno. Sort of like what happened with Roy Mustang when he fought the battle of grief against Envy, who murdered his close friend Maze Hughes. Our boy's rage was clear in the form of burning flames as he unleashed the full force of his flame alchemy on Envy. In a final attack, Envy's eyes literally got boiled away by Rob's flames like this is no ordinary battle but pure vengeance. This was a darkly funny fight because it was so one-sided. Envy didn't stand a chance against Mustang because he was one step ahead of him. This whole scene of satisfying revenge and emotional release did wonders. It's not just a fight, but a reminder that there are consequences for your actions, and this showdown was the perfect example of how Mustang made Envy pay for his actions.
こいつがリヴァイか。同じも何も見えない。足が硬質か。ダメだ、間に合わない。
Next up, we've got an intense showdown between the two heavyweights in AOT, Levi Ackerman and Zeke Yeager. But before you picture a perfect fight, let's just say this fight isn't what you're expecting. It's like watching a ninja with a sword fight a giant with a cannon for an arm. Spoiler alert, one of them is going to look really, really bad. Now, let's talk about this moment. Zeke, the Beast Titan, thought he would cook in this fight due to his big size, but little did he know that Levi could swoosh and slash before he could even make a move. While watching Levi, even the captains realized that's a bad guy right there. You know what though? This battle was personal for Levi because it was more than just defeating Zeke. He had to fulfill the promise of Erwin, his fallen commander, which made the fight rather emotional. But seeing Zeke drop dead with his superiority complex was one of the most satisfying moments, especially because he underestimated Levi's skills.
途切れかけた意識の底でピトーは安堵していた。
Moving forward, how many times would you beat up someone for betraying you? Gone until I kill them. Okay, maybe not literally every time, but that's the kind of raw and unfiltered emotion we deal with when we talk about Gon versus Pito in Hunter x Hunter. Remember that time when Pito murdered Kite, Gon's father figure, and left him fatherless? That's the second abandonment that Gon had faced, and this time he wasn't backing off. He was so consumed by this rage that he unleashed his full monstrous form. Then he confronted Pito in a one-on-one battle fueled by grief and rage. This fight ended with a massive blow that undoubtedly defeated Pito right there and then. But guess what? This was one of the sickest battles in Hunter x Hunter, where we got to see Gon's full potential, or his breaking point, an emotional meltdown, which was really cool. The animation in this scene was also incredibly powerful. The way it captured Gon's body transformation, the intensity in his eyes, and the aura surrounding him sent shivers down everyone's spines, especially Pito. Forget Batman, Iron Man, Spider-Man, and literally any man you ever know, because Deku has got it all. When it comes to stories about superheroes, one can't simply look away from My Hero Academia. In one of its amazing face-offs, Deku confronts Overhaul while trying to protect Eri. This little girl was being manipulated by Overhaul. Now Deku had to save the day, and so he made his move by delivering an emphatic final blow on Overhaul's mask, then grabbed one of his limbs to throw the monster onto the ground where he lay defeated. It was a moment of satisfaction when the once overpowered Overhaul met his demise and failed his sinister plan of using a little girl for his evil quirks. Now, we're all aware of how fluid My Hero Academia's animation is, right? So even for this battle, the animation did wonders with smooth transitions, powerful attacks, and instant crisp sound effects, making it one of the best moments where underestimating your opponent was the worst thing villains did.
認めるよ、真人。俺はお前だ。ただお前を殺す。また新しい呪いとして生まれたら、そいつも殺す。それがこの戦いの俺の役割なんだ。
You know just how it feels when your mentor gets murdered right in front of your eyes. Yes, we're talking about the time when Shibuya Station's Halloween turned into a real-time Halloween with mass murders of humanoids and everything that you could ever imagine. During this battle, Itadori had no control over his strength. He was driven by feelings of hatred and immense rage for Mahito because he hurt and killed the two most important figures to Itadori. Then, using his Black Flash, Itadori weakened Mahito, and just when he was about to finish him off, Genjaku disturbed and took Mahito away. It was technically a win for Itadori because he'd already overpowered Mahito in the battle, which was really awesome to see. The whole fight was mwah, especially because Mahito thought he ate, but he didn't.
私は魔力を制限していた。そんなはずはないわ。それならこの私が見逃すはずがない。前の前にいるのは1000年以上生きた魔法使いだ。アウラ、自害しろ。
There's something called aura, then there's massive aura. And that's exactly what Frieren brings to the table. Seriously, the woman doesn't just hold aura, she straight up fights it. Yeah, we're talking about the epic battle between Frieren and Aura. Imagine being underestimated because the villain is too focused on her own powers, such a pick-me-up, right? Anyway, she thought that she could defeat Frieren through her undead army, but Frieren flipped the script and pulled off the ultimate sleight of hand, concealing her mana, which was too much for Aura's army to handle. In the end, Aura's magic turned on her so hard that she she practically gave herself up to Frieren. Now this whole battle was a visual feast, considering Frieren's infinite aura and powers with amazing animation and sound effects that made it feel too real. Everything about this moment screams best. And there you have it. If you have some underestimated moments, make sure to let me know in the comments. If you want to hang around for some more time, check out this video on most legendary mentor entrances in anime. Alright, see you soon.